Hello everybody and welcome to the Cadaver Lab's Christmas Extravaganza. You might be saying, but Mike, bro, it's barely mid-November. Why are you already doing Christmas shows? Well, number one, I love Christmas horror movies so GD much, bros. I like watching the craziness while enjoying the Christmas lights, tree, and the massive amount of ceramic Yulenis. And because my wife's grandma's Norwegian, and apparently she thinks that my wife needs 800 of them in her house, always staring at us. And that's funny. But the main reason I'm doing this video so early is because I want to make sure that you're prepared for the Christmas season. Last year on CorpseCollective.com, I put together a list of Christmas horror movies that one could watch every single day all the way through December, right? All the way up till Christmas Day. But since I wasn't really making videos last Christmas, I figured that I'd do it this year. Disclaimer. I originally put this together last year, so the list won't include new movies like the remake of Silent Night, Deadly Night that's coming up this month. That's just one example. I'm sure there'll be tons more. So you might want to leave a couple of days open for some of that stuff to pop up, and so you can definitely grab that because you're going to want to grab your hot chocolate, your just wonderful snuggly blanket that has Christmas time on it, the Christmas tree, and you're going to want to watch all these movies every single day of the year. And by the way, if you're interested in looking at the original list on the website, as you make your way through December, you can go check it out, see what's coming up, going back without having to watch both videos. Yes, that's true, both videos, because this is part one. But anyways, I digress. If you want to see the list that I made last year, go to christmas.cadaverlab.com and you'll find the whole list there. And finally, before I get into it, make sure you subscribe, like, share, etc. Sure would make me happy. Don't you want to make me happy? I want to make you happy. Anyway, let's do it. Okay, as a rule, I'd say that most of these can be interchanged on dates. There's a couple exceptions, and I'll point them out as I go. But I'm going to present this list with one movie for every day of the month until Christmas. And also, I'm going to list some of the places that these can be streamed. That way, hopefully, it makes it a little bit easier for you. Obviously, that only applies to this moment in time. It is right now the middle of November 2025. That'll probably change because I know it's changed since last year. In fact, some of the movies or some of the list on my website is totally different where they can be streamed now. But I went and looked. I didn't update the thing. I didn't update the article on my site. But you can definitely do it here. All right, let's get into it. For December 1st, we're starting off strong with Bob Clark's Christmas classic. No, not that Christmas classic. But I'm talking about Bob Clark's other Christmas classic called Black Christmas from 1974. During Christmas break at a quiet sorority house, a group of college women and their house mother receive increasingly disturbing, obscene phone calls from a deranged stranger. As the calls escalate into real terror, the killer begins stalking and murdering the residents one by one, with the police dismissing the threats until it's too late. A lot of people consider this the very first slasher movie, although that definitely can be argued. You've got a lot of Bay of Blood, Mario Bava type stuff. Anyway, I digress. But still, even though this tackles some heavy social themes, it's super fun. I mean, you'll get through that. If you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. I always enjoy a drunken Margot Kidder and a house mother who's always drunk, hiding her little shots and bottles of, I don't know, there's something just fun about it. Definitely a classic. It's a great way to start the month as well. You can stream this on Prime, Shudder, Peacock. You can also rent from Amazon and Apple TV. For December 2nd, we'll be taking you down a road of ultimate camp. This might be the wildest Christmas movie in existence. Of course, I'm talking about 2005's Santa Sleigh. Now, Santa Sleigh takes place in the sleepy town of Hale, Wisconsin. Santa Claus, played by former pro wrestler Bill Goldberg, in a very over-the-top performance, is revealed as a demon who lost a bet with an angel and was forced to spread joy for 1,000 years. Well, he returns to his murderous roots on Christmas Eve as he unleashes a gory rampage with holiday-themed kills. A skeptical teen and his inventor grandfather uncover the truth and race to stop the slaying spree before the whole town is unwrapped. This is crazy. Bill Goldberg is perfect for this too, by the way. I love this one so much. It's so silly. This actually has a lot of A-list actors such as Robert Culp, Dave Thomas, Rebecca Gayheart, Chris Kattan, Fran Drescher, and James Caan. Of course, most of these folks on this list that I just mentioned are dispatched during a visit from Santa during a Christmas feast in the first scene. But I love this movie so dang much, man. It's ridiculous, outlandish, completely amazing. This one is streaming on Starz, Fandango at Home, Plex, and you can rent it from Amazon. Okay, so for December 3rd, we're getting gory. I enjoy Damien Leone's Terrifier films, but they're really not the ones I watch a ton. I don't really typically recommend them, but it's Christmas, folks. Terrifier 3 from 2024 is a Christmas-themed gore spectacular. But since it takes place among the lights, the tree, and other decorations, it gets on this list. On Christmas Eve in Miles County, Sienna Shaw, the final girl from previous entries in the series, tries to reclaim normalcy with her family after surviving Art the Clown's previous massacres haunted by PTSD and visions. But the sadistic mime resurrects for a festival killing spree, now aided by a vengeful new partner, forcing Sienna into a brutal fight to end his reign of terror once and for all. Ooh, I'll tell you what, the gore in this is unrelenting and brutal, but you know that if you've seen these at all. You'll see shit that will turn you white. All right. But in my opinion, it's still a good entry during the most wonderful time of the year. You can stream this on Prime, Screenbox, Canopy, Hoopla, and you can rent it from Amazon, Fandango at Home, and Apple TV, among others. So after watching Terrifier last night, you're going to want a palate cleanser for December 4th. Let's bring the horror comedy The Killing Tree from 2022. It's the same old story. The one where a devoted widow on Christmas Eve performs an ancient ritual to resurrect her executed serial killer husband. But the spell backfires, reincarnating him as a vengeful, bloodthirsty Christmas tree. As the possessed evergreen springs to murderous life in her home, it embarks on a holiday rampage to exact revenge on those who wronged him, turning festive cheer into festive fear. Okay, sorry about that. You want subtlety? You want to see a very clever way to express how a man can have a soul stuck in a tree? Well, there's none of that here. In fact, the level of ridiculousness will purge any disturbing memories from last night's Gorefest. You can stream this on Prime, Fandango at Home. You can also rent it from Amazon, Fandango at Home, and Apple TV. That brings us to December 5th, and now this is one of the exceptions to the rule that these are interchangeable by dates. This one needs to be watched on December 5th. The Christmas classic that we'll be talking about tonight, is called Saint or Sint from 2005. Every 32 years when a full moon falls on December 5th, St. Nicholas Eve, the benevolent bishop transforms into a zombified killer, descending on Amsterdam with his horde of murderous Zwarte Piets, riding motorbikes. As an ancient curse unleashes a wave of holiday carnage, a ragtag group of urban legend enthusiasts race to expose and halt the rampaging saint before he turns the city into a slaughterhouse. So December 5th is Krampusnacht, and this is the night that St. Nicholas wreaks his havoc. That's why you need to watch this on December 5th specifically. Even though this has some annoying moments with some high school students and some really questionable CGI, man, I love this movie. I like learning about different Christmas traditions from around Europe, and I love the monster. It's directed by my favorite Dutch director, the only Dutch director I think I know, named Dick Maas, who's directed such Dutch classics as Amsterdam, Prey, and the story of a haunted elevator with 1983's The Lift. Okay, you can rent this on Amazon and Apple TV. Also, I like this one a lot it's kind of one of those movies that maybe you go to Wikipedia to learn more about the tradition, stuff like that. And I do like it, the Zwarte Piets and all that. I don't know, it's great. The Lucky Peters, just check that out. Yes, I did say Lucky Peters. My apologies. All right, on to December 6th. I'm sure we're familiar with David Hess, Krug from Wes Craven's The Last House on the Left from 1972. What I bet you didn't know about him is that he directed a Christmas slasher from 1980 called To All a Goodnight. During Christmas break at an isolated all-girls finishing school masquerading as a ski lodge, a group of co-eds and their boyfriends throw a wild holiday party, oblivious to the blizzard trapping them inside. As the night wears on, a mysterious psychopath in a Santa Claus suit begins methodically stalking and slaughtering the merrymakers with festive fare, turning tinsel and eggnog into blood-soaked nightmare of betrayal and survival. This one follows the slasher tropes pretty closely. Is it super unique? No. But neither are any of the Friday the 13th sequels after 3, and I still love the shit out of them. By the way, you can stream this on MGM Plus and Fubo. All right. December 7th, we're moving into the most mainstream movie of the lot so far. We've got another big one coming up later. But this movie stars David Harbour, John Leguizamo, and Beverly D'Angelo. Of course, I'm talking about 2022's Violent Night. In this film, Nickamon the Red, a one-time unflinching Viking warrior who is more familiar with killing, pillaging, cracking skulls with his weapon Skull Crusher than giving presents, decides to change his ways and atone for his crimes by becoming what we know as Santa Claus. One night on his yearly trip around the world, he crash lands a sleigh at a lavish Connecticut mansion on Christmas Eve. This, where he meets a dysfunctional, wealthy family, they're already unraveling amid the holiday tension, but to make it worse, a crew of elite mercenaries led by the sadistic Mr. Scrooge storms the estate to rob a hidden fortune and take hostages. Santa Claus to the rescue. This one is so much fun, man. It reminds us of the meaning of Christmas while serving up some skull-cracking awesomeness. Although it may not be horror in the truest sense, it's definitely fantasy. It's definitely hits those beats that we love as horror fans. You can stream this at Fandango at Home, Fubo, Starz, and Peacock. You can rent it on Amazon and Apple TV. All right, you guys, are you ready for what's in store on December 8th? I'm not one of those people who really ever calls a movie so bad it's good, because that's ridiculous, right? But if I were the type of person to say that, I'd be talking about this movie, even though I genuinely love this movie. The movie is named Jack Frost, and it's from 1997. On his way to his execution, a vicious serial killer Jack Frost's transport truck crashes into a hazardous chemical spill during a blizzard, mutating his corpse into a grotesque ice-cold snowman with a thirst for revenge. Revived and unstoppable, the Frosty Fiend stalks the town of Snowmonton, targeting the sheriff who put him away and his family in a flurry of gory, holiday-themed kills that turn Winter Wonder into frozen terror. Man, this is the perfect straight-to-DVD/VHS trash that I love, and a lot of the dialogue will make you groan, like, oof. But in a good way, of course. We also have Shannon Elizabeth's very first movie, and but you can go ahead and stream this on Prime, the Roku channel, Night Flight, and Plex, and you can rent it on Apple TV and Amazon. On tap for December 9th, we have the greatest horror movie of all time. The reason that I've put it so early in the month is because you need no distraction as you watch this. You need to only surround yourself with people who are ready to enjoy this one with you. You can't watch this while your out-of-town family is visiting. You can't watch while you're stressed out finishing up last-minute Christmas tasks. Of course, I'm talking about Silent Night, Deadly Night from 1984. Yes, inarguably the greatest Christmas movie of all time. Don't even argue with me. You don't even do it. Also, it doesn't hurt that this was filmed about 45 minutes from where my ass is sitting right now. It's about a traumatized orphan, Billy Chapman, scarred by witnessing his parents' brutal murder on Christmas Eve by a drunken intruder in a small Santa suit. Well, intruder meaning they met him on the road. Anyways. He grows up under the iron fist of a repressive Catholic orphanage that brands him with guilt over naughty desires. As a young adult slinging toys at a department store, a forced turn as Kris Kringle unleashes his repressed rage, transforming him into a bloodthirsty Santa who embarks on a Yuletide killing spree, axing anyone he judges as wicked in a festive frenzy of holiday horror. Man, I don't know how to say this without sounding like a lech, but I love the Scream Queen Linnea Quigley in this. I'll leave it at that. This is the greatest Christmas horror movie of all time. It's got in fact, when you watch this, you will definitely, there's the line in this movie that you will be sending your children every single Christmas Eve for the rest of your life. It's for the grandpa. Christmas Eve is the scariest damn night of the year. I'll show a picture of him maybe. You can stream this on Plex and Pluto, and you can rent it to Apple TV and Amazon. All right, we're already up to December 10th, and we're getting into the only anthology film of the bunch. Well, I mean, it's less like an anthology film and more like an intertwined plot that meets up at the end. Next on the list is the severely underrated A Christmas Horror Story from 2015. On a tense Christmas Eve in the idyllic town of Bailey Downs, a chatty radio DJ played by a very toasted William Shatner. I swear he's toasted in this, but he inadvertently weaves together 4 chilling tales of Yuletide terror. Not only are the elves dropping the F-bombs, but they're chewing off the limbs of their enemies. You'll dig this one. Catch it on HBO Max and Plex. You can also rent it on Apple TV, Plex, and Amazon. All right, December 11th, we're getting some more Christmas tradition from Europe. There's Something in the Barn is a film from 2023 all about the Norwegian beliefs of the barn gnomes. And this one's all about a quirky American family, dysfunctional dad Bill, his kids Nora, and Lucas and their Norwegian stepmom. They relocate to a remote cabin in Norway to turn the creepy barn into a bed and breakfast. They unwittingly violate the sacred folklore by disturbing the resident Nisse. My Norwegian wife calls these julenisse, which is just basically a giant-sized barn gnome. The once mischievous elf spirals into a pint-sized killing machine, unleashing a bloody tradition and forcing rampage that forces the family to embrace Yuletide customs or face festive dismemberment. This one's all about blood, gru, and insanity, sprinkled with some Christmas cheer, man. It's a fun one. It's pretty new, and it's clean, it's clear, not like some of these old ones from the 80s, but it's a fun one, man. It's just nothing serious about it. Stream it on Shudder, Starz, AMC Plus, and Philo. You can rent it on Apple TV, Amazon, and Fandango at home. All right. December 12th brings us to our first remake of the month. Well, it's kind of a remake. In fact, there's only one scene that even resembles the original, but I'm talking about 2012's Silent Night. In a festive Midwestern town gearing up for its Christmas Eve parade, no-nonsense Deputy Aubrey Bradmore teams up with her sheriff father to hunt a deranged killer clad in a Santa suit, who eavesdrop on the locals to identify and eviscerate the naughty, with gory Yuletide flair turning jingle bells into screams before the holiday cheer curls into carnage. This one stars Malcolm McDowell, Jamie King, and Donald Logue. Though it's not as good as the original Silent Night, Deadly Night, it's awesome in its own right. Colorful, scary, violent, and, it's very, it's kind of beautiful. I know it's kind of weird to say about a Santa slasher, but you'll love the colors, you'll love the way it's set up, you'll love the... I'll just say flamethrower, and that's kind of all you'll need for now. But like I said, this is really just a remake in name only. It's just basically a Santa Claus slasher flick. It delivers, and I love it. Stream it on Roku channel, Fandango at home, Plex, and rent it on Apple TV, Amazon, and Fandango at home. So that's where we're going to end part one. And so do me a favor, like I said, like and subscribe. And go to corpsecollective.com to see what other kind of stuff we've got going on over there. I appreciate you guys watching, and we'll catch you guys later.